Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking about the books that I have read on semester at sea so far. I can't believe it, but we passed halfway on our last day, I believe, of Cape Town, which was about 7 days ago. And I was like, okay, wait, I've read some good books and I want to talk about them, so I might as well film a little video and explain what I've read, when I finished them, what I thought, what they're about, if you should read them. But yeah, without further ado, let's get going. I also am going to show you how I set my iPad up so I can track my reading, because I can't really use Goodreads when I'm on the ship. I only have like 3 minutes of Wi-Fi a day, and you know how Goodreads is. Very slow, takes its time, and is not very thorough. So I created my own little system to track it on my iPad. My iPad has been my best friend. First off, I want to clarify that I have not read any of my physical books. I only brought 3, and I am currently in the middle of one of them. I haven't gotten around to reading the physical ones because it's like a treat to me to read physical books, but then I've been getting into my Kindle and reading on my phone and my iPad so much that I forget I have the physical books. But now I have 6, and I can absolutely read 6 by the end of December when I leave, but I forget about them. I'm going to show you my reading journal now. This is what she looks like. I have my TBR cart, my reading goals, and I actually reached 50 the other day. Books that I read on semester at sea. Then we have my series tracker, and then all of the online books that I've read, so through Kindle Unlimited or the books that I've downloaded or for school. But yeah, I will show you the books that I read on my phone just so I can give you a proper look at the cover. Where did it go? Oh my gosh, I undownloaded it. Okay, well, that's all right. The first book that I read was The Goal, I believe. Yeah, The Goal by Elle Kennedy, and I believe that this was the 4th or 5th book. I'm looking at my series tracker. It was the 4th book in the off-campus series. This follows different hockey players and a romance that they go through in each of the books. This is the 4th one. This one has a very specific trope in it, and I will not give it away because actually I had no idea before reading it. And it was really, really interesting because I didn't love the main girl character. She wasn't my absolute favorite, so that played a major part in me enjoying the book. I did rate it a 4 stars though, which is really, really odd because I didn't connect with the main character at all. I did really, really like the male character, and their romance was really cute. I will say that Elle Kennedy, when she makes books, you're gonna eat them up. Like, they're very much, let's just say that you know what you're getting into when you start these books. And honestly, for me, whenever I read Elle Kennedy, it's more of like a light-hearted read, but this one was a little bit deeper. It dealt with like a different dynamic. I can't give it away because I just don't know how to say it without saying it, but I really do think it was good, and it was one of my favorites in the series so far, and I liked the couple together. But I didn't like the girl. I don't know. It wasn't that I didn't like her, but I just didn't really connect with her, and that plays a big role in me enjoying the book, obviously. But yeah, that was the first book that I finished on my phone at the beginning of the voyage. Okay, after that I ended up reading Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, and this was actually required for one of my classes. This was the comparative literature class where we talk about food, which was really, really interesting, and we started off with a great book. I loved Gilbert's writing. She's witty, she's with it, but she also is really, really detail-oriented, which kind of played a part in how long it took me to finish this book. I feel like this book took me a little bit longer. I enjoyed the journey and her self-exploration, discovery, and how she traveled to the different countries. It was really cool because on semester at sea, we're able to, our classes connect with what we're doing in port. So in this novel, she went to Italy, India, then where did she go? Thailand? Was it Thailand? No. No way. Okay, maybe, I don't remember. That was a while ago. But she went to 3 different countries and had her own individual self-exploration journey. This was popular, I think, back in the 2000s. It's extremely popular still. New York Times bestseller. I'm sure you've heard of it. And it was awesome to be able to say that I read it on semester at sea and for a class. With this novel, I don't pick up memoirs often because it's hard for me to enjoy them fully because I judge them as if it's a fiction book rather than personal life story, but the way that I rate them is based on my enjoyment from it or based on what I got out from it. So usually I don't say like I didn't like her story or who she was, but I kind of judged this one on more the writing. I love the overall theme of the book and I really did connect with her in many ways, but also she is a little bit older than me, so we have different ways that we would go about different situations, and although I loved her writing, it took me a little bit longer to thoroughly enjoy myself when reading it. So if I were to rate this, it would be kind of in the middle, I would say, but I did think it was a really powerful message and the message was great. I'm so glad I read it. So that was my second book. Okay, what did I read for my third book? Okay. Ahaha, this one's funny. Did I undownload this one too? No. No way, no way, no way. Yeah, I literally removed it. Okay, I was really thinking about my storage, wasn't I? But the next book is The Teacher by Freida McFadden. Freida McFadden is a well-known thriller mystery author, and I've read 2 of her other books, The Housemaid and The Housemaid's Secret, I believe. The red and the blue cover. I don't have them with me, so I can't really tell. But those are the 2 books that I had previously read by her, and I saw that my mom had already downloaded The Teacher on her Kindle a while back, and so I just went ahead and read it because it sounded really interesting. This follows a teenager in high school who starts to have interests in her teacher. It also has a different storyline where you're trying to figure out why another teacher quit, and it also has ties with this main female protagonist, and it is so weird. Okay, I rated this a 3 out of 5 because the ending 1 was crazy. 2, Freida McFadden's writing doesn't like grip me enough, I would say. I really like it and it's so easy to get through, but also this topic of book was just so interesting, and I don't know if I would have done it in the way she did. The thing is that I can't really go into detail with this book either, because if I say something, I don't want to spoil it, especially if you're going to read it, but I do think it was interesting, and if you're interested in the plot where the teacher and the student are having some sort of romance, as well as maybe having that thriller in there, so you know there's like an odd aspect to it, I would say pick it up if it does like sound intriguing, which is exactly why I picked it up. But it wasn't like top tier and it wasn't bottom tier. It was just kind of somewhere in the middle for me, and it was so interesting because I was reading it on the pool deck by myself and I was finishing it, and the things that happened, I just did not think I should be in a situation where my teachers were around me. And that's what Semester at Sea is like you go to dinner and teachers like may come and sit by you. You go to the pool deck, you wave at the dean, you wave at the crew. So it just was kind of odd, but it's not to say I didn't enjoy it and I didn't think it was a weird, interesting, unique concept that some people might enjoy. I don't know. Touchy. Let me know if you like this book, if you've read it, and we can like talk about it, I guess. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, the next and last 3 books that I've read are all for school. So I'll try to be thorough with these, but also they're not like school books. Like they're not classics. They're more based on the class that I'm in, if that makes sense. Okay, anyway, so the next book I'm going to be talking about is The Milk Lady of Bangalore, and I have to give a disclaimer that I do not know how to say this author's name. I'm going to butcher it, but Shobha Narayan. This is called The Milk Lady of Bangalore, and this was another memoir following a self-exploration journey as well, where a woman moves back from New York City to India, and she's trying to go culturally back to her roots, which is so interesting in itself. But this novel actually follows her exploration of milk in India. You learn the reasons why milk is so important to Indians, how it follows their religion, how they worship cows, and how it intertwines with their general culture. This was so interesting, and I flew through this book. I gave this another 3 stars, but just based on the writing as well. There were times when I felt that I didn't fully understand what was going on, or the end was kind of left a little bit open-ended for me. So that's why I gave it 3 stars, not based on her life whatsoever, just on the writing. But I did really enjoy this book. I think it was so interesting that I read it for my food class. We talked a lot about how important cows are, and I learned literally so much about cows and milk from this book. And I think it is a really interesting memoir if you are looking to get into more and have no idea where to start. And then also if you're looking to either travel to India, move there, live there, whatever, this one is really interesting because you learn a lot about how important the cow is and the different dynamics that go into picking out your milk, or yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to it, and honestly I could talk for hours about it because we had to take several quizzes based on this book, but I'll spare you the details and say that this is a good memoir, and it's just kind of lighthearted as well as weirdly impactful. Okay, the next book that I'm gonna be talking about is The Cook, and I'm gonna butcher her last name, Meridith de Carangle. This is what it looks like, and this was also for my food literature class. So this one is a novel, it is not a memoir, and it's a shorter book for sure. This follows a main male character who grows throughout the book but doesn't know what he wants to do, but he's a chef. And so you are going through his life post-grad. Actually, I think he might be in grad school at the time when you start this novel, but it is actually from the narrator's point of view, and this is a woman narrator, and you learn basically nothing about her, and you're following her friend, the chef, who is opening restaurants and doing different things and working at restaurants and being a chef and being a main chef, a sous chef, and you get to kind of see the dynamics of the kitchen, especially in the different cultures that he is immersed in. So he ended up going to Portugal and Venezuela, Thailand, and you get to kind of see his life journey through his career, which is really, really interesting and weird and not like anything I've ever read before. It wasn't necessarily hard to get through, it was just different. But I did, again, rate this at 3 stars. I wish that we did this on a 10-star scale, and honestly I could. Maybe I will. I don't know. But this one was different because it was definitely not my favorite, and it borderlines like a 2.75 to 3 stars for me. But it wasn't bad whatsoever, and I think that if you're into more of a literary analysis type of book, this one could definitely be for you. Like, the kitchen aspect of everything is really interesting, and how his mind kind of works from an outsider's perspective is interesting to look into, but I don't really know what to say about that because I don't necessarily think I would recommend it to any of my friends. But if I was maybe talking to someone, there are people that would like that book, but it just wasn't for me, so maybe I should rate it a 2 stars. 2.5. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with 2.5 for The Cook. Sorry guys. Okay, last but not least is another memoir for our global studies class, and this one is called Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. You've definitely heard of Trevor Noah. If not, look him up. Maybe you have, probably. I believe he hosted the Grammys. Yeah, I want to say he hosted the Grammys, or maybe it was the Oscars last year. And he's a comedian, so he's just generally funny, and he's such a great person. When I was reading this, I was like, I love you. You're so awesome. He was born and raised in South Africa, and you get to learn what his life looked like being a mixed person, which is really, really interesting, and is such a different standpoint than anything I've ever read before, because it's his life story, but you also are laughing through it. At the end, I was crying. You feel the emotions really well, and he's a great storyteller. So to me, this one's a 5-star. I flew through it. I picked up the book so much. When I was in class, I was like, wait, no, I need to chill and put it down. But this one was really impactful because when he was growing up, apartheid had begun. So he was going through his life not knowing really anything different, and to read it now after traveling to South Africa and being able to see the huge dichotomy between whites, blacks, and mixed people is extremely insane. I'm thankful I got to read this book and travel to the place where he was from and see it firsthand. I know he's not from Cape Town, and I went to Cape Town, but just the idea, I think, of being in that same country or nearby was just really impactful for me. I think that this is a novel that everyone should pick up once in their life, and now I want to watch all the Netflix shows. I feel like I've seen several about him, and I want to get to know him as an actor or a comedian. I'm not really sure what he's in. I'm not really sure what he does outside of hosting whatever he hosted, and seeing him on little commercials and in little things. I just know I recognize him, so I'm assuming that everyone does, but I know that probably not everyone does. But pick it up. If you're into memoirs, I would highly recommend picking up Born a Crime by Trevor Noah, and I don't think you'll regret it. He's a great storyteller. So okay, but those are all of the books that I have actually read on this voyage. So I think that's 6. Yeah, I've read 6 books so far, which is honestly less than I thought, because I love to read and I pick up books so frequently at home, but being on semester at sea, I want to be so involved in talking with people and getting to know more people that reading really isn't in the forefront of my mind, which is a good thing. Like, I'm not mad at that at all. It's interesting because also most of the books that I read are for my class. I'm really studious, I guess, you guys. I don't know. Also, the books that they were forcing us to read were pretty cool, so I'm not complaining whatsoever. But yeah, those are the books that I've read so far, and I hope that you have enjoyed this video. And if you want to see more book videos or semester at sea videos, or I don't know, leave me a comment, DM me, I'll probably answer, and I'd be happy to talk more soon. Subscribe! See you next time.